Hello, everyone. It's January 2025, and we are celebrating the 10-year anniversary of my company, Petabridge. I never imagined I'd be running one company for as long as we have, let alone doing it via bootstrapping. So today's video is going to be about 10 things I've learned in 10 years of bootstrapping. If you want to learn more about Petabridge, we're the commercial entity behind Akka.net, which is a big open source distributed actor framework for .net. Check out the Petabridge YouTube channel if you want to learn more. Otherwise, we are going to dive in to learning a little bit about business together. Number one, you must enjoy building for its own sake. The only thing that you can do when you are starting a brand new company from scratch is you can outwork your competition. And that means paying attention to little details and little things no one else gets right. The details you choose are your business. So you must enjoy expressing that for its own sake. It's got to give you some creative satisfaction doing that. The sorts of developers who are going to try to outsource a lot of this building to AI agents or whatever aren't going to be able to do that. They view building as an obstacle to making money. You should view it as an opportunity. So you must enjoy building for its own sake, or you're never going to make it in this business. Number two, you can't take things personally. Being able to get mad over little slights and humiliations, which by the way, you'll endure all the time as an entrepreneur. You'll probably be the company's janitor for quite a while, up until you're able to grow out of that role. People without a lot going on can't afford to take things personally. But if you're running a company, you've got a lot going on at any given time, you can't afford to do it, so don't. As soon as stuff happens, try to let go of it and move on to the next thing you need to do. Keep moving. Number three, no one is going to thank you. The way I would put this is that most people go through life having no idea that they are an ingrate. The rare people who go out of their way to thank you and express appreciation for what you do, make sure you cherish those people and build close relationships with them. And by the way, the other part of this is don't get bothered by people not thanking you. Take it as a given. This goes for employees, customers, stakeholders, investors, etc. A lot of people are simply not going to recognize the effort you put into things because they're generally oblivious to it. That's what it boils down to. It's not malice, it's generally self-focus. Number four, be okay with saying no on the regular. There's a saying from the medieval times that if you defend everything, you defend nothing. The basic idea behind this is you need to choose what's important, and that means saying no to things that aren't. This is hard for me to do because, like most software developers, I always overestimate my capacity, and I always want to say yes. I want to be a people pleaser in that regard. So this is really difficult for me, and I've been getting a lot better at it over the years. Your life will get easier the more you say no, and you should. You should say no to employees, customers, other people who've got input. Always stick to your gut and decide what is most important and follow that. Don't let any distractions get on your plate. Number five, automate everything you do periodically. If you have a task, even if it runs relatively infrequently, let's say once a year, but it's highly technical and easy to screw up, automate it the first time you do it. This is the exact opposite of the advice you get in something like the lean startup, which tells you to mechanically turk it or come up with some super lightweight baling wire and duct tape process for doing it. That stuff will absolutely kill you if you end up being remotely successful. So instead, invest in automating things and creating a predictable system for getting things done. This will help you spend less time per task doing stuff and will help ensure there's a certain regular order to how that task is done. So automate your CRM, automate some of your marketing, automate some of your engineering practices. This will make your life a lot easier and it'll pay dividends the greater your time gets divided over all the different things that make up your business. Number six, don't worry about what others are doing. Software is not a zero-sum game, and neither are most industries. Just because someone else has another widget just like yours in market doesn't mean that you two are necessarily taking market share from each other. For all you know, the market could still be growing. Therefore, the actual population of potential customers is getting bigger, and you're just starting to acquire some of them. So don't worry about what others are doing. Instead, focus on yourself and ask, am I doing my best? Could I be doing better? If the answer to any of those questions are no, focus on that. Always just work on trying to make sure you're prioritizing the right things and you're doing them well. Number seven, you will never get it all done. As my father, who's a veteran entrepreneur, once told me, being in business for yourself is like swimming in the middle of the ocean. You know you're never going to reach the shore, but all you have to do is just try to get a little bit closer every day. People who are like inbox zero freaks will go berserk trying to run a company because there's no checklist where everything is done at the end of the day. I always end the day with unfinished work because there's just too much for one person to possibly do, even if you delegate, even if you have a big team. That's just kind of the nature of how business is. So this is more about acceptance, accepting that you will never get it all done, but you're going to do your best to try every day. And it is in the trying where you will find success. Number 8, practice creative disruption periodically. This is the idea of intentionally shaking things up inside your business. So maybe you have something that's like working okay, but you wonder, could it be working a little bit better? So maybe you decide to, I don't know, give a new email marketing platform a try. Maybe you decide to change the way your website is hosted. Maybe you decide to change up what tools you use for doing programming. You might find a lot of value in not just, let's say, disrupting your choice of tools, but also in your business processes and your products and services that you offer to customers too. It's always a good idea to go ahead and try to see what you can do to improve things by maybe getting rid of something that was working okay and not working well enough. Now, we don't necessarily mean throwing the baby out with the bathwater here and getting rid of, let's say, a real good staple product, but recognize that sometimes you might need to disrupt yourself in order to keep your momentum going forward in the business. Number 9, actively seek negative feedback. As Bill Gates famously said, positive feedback is not actionable. Well, I think generally that is true. The corollary to this is a lot of people don't want to give you negative feedback, so you have to go looking for it. So this means doing things like talking to customers, doing surveys, trying to find people who've got suggestions on what you could be doing better. For every person who says it, there might be 10 or 100 who agree with them, but are too nice to say so. So people who are willing to be honest with you and give you negative feedback are people that are worth listening to. Now, obviously, you can decide if their feedback is worth a damn or not, but generally speaking, you should always be looking to try to get negative feedback so you understand where you are not doing well in the eyes of your customers. And finally, the last lesson, celebrate your successes, but keep it brief. So that's what I'm doing here in this video. I decided to go ahead and take some time away from all of the other business of Petabridge to talk a little bit about what it's been like over the past decade of doing this. I could have turned this into a several hour long video if I wanted to, but the other flip side of this is you don't want to rest on your laurels. You've got to celebrate your success, acknowledge the milestones that you've hit, but then get back to work. And that's what we're going to do here. Please don't forget to subscribe to Aaron on the Web, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much.